You got to adapt to the changes. Adaptation is what it's all about, isn't it? I'm Angel. Hi, thanks for stopping by. Ooh, I'm on my way to enjoy some family time with my son and a friend of mine after that, and then some business time, and the weather's changing a little out there, and also it's the same. And anyway, I was just thinking about how, I'm in a different phase of my life, different phase of my business than I've been, as life goes. Change is inevitable. And the one constant, and constant is a misleading term because it's not constant, it's not quite predictable, and so adaptability is our best tool, our best strategy, our best thing we got going for us, I think. Our imaginations, our ability to adapt along the way to the changes. And for me, a big part of that adaptation, there's physical adaptation and mental, acquiring different skills, and those are all very important. How I set up my routines, my systems, and my beliefs really is a big part of it. So I think it's, as I've aged, it's easy to see how we get stuck in a rut of identity, of thinking, of belief, of who we are. Whoops, darn it. I forgot where I was going. But I can adapt, see. That's how it is. Anyway, I guess I'm reflecting on how I didn't do a great job of adapting to some extra stress yesterday. And I was listening to a talk this morning talk about healing and trauma and how to deal with the stresses of life and the traumas of life, and realizing that a big lesson for me lately in self-love is recognizing that while sometimes I can indulge in the indulgences like ice cream or vodka or things that aren't necessarily good for me but are okay in moderation, and maybe even arguably good in moderation. But yesterday I overindulged in some food, not like terribly, but enough to where I'm feeling it today, and that was partly because I have a ingrained stress response to where instead of taking better care of myself when I'm going through transitions and stress, sometimes I take worse care of myself. Not all the time. I'm actually getting better and better at that, I'm happy to say. And I think I'm actually more aware of the negative effects because I've been doing a lot better with that overall and in general. And so I dropped the ball a little bit, or, I don't even know if that's the right phrasing for it, but I overindulged a little yesterday, which I used to do all the time pretty consistently, and so it's easy for me to fall back into that habit, especially when I'm stressed and wanting to be like, I'm not as mindful. And I'm just kind of, I guess, making a note to myself that part of good adaptation strategy, especially as stresses are potentially higher with, you could say with climate change but even just for me personally, I'm in a transitional phase of my life. I'm getting ready to travel more. I'm shifting my income strategies, and so there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of stuff coming up for me that is tempting to fall into old habits. But in order to really adapt as best as I can and make the most of all these changes for me, for myself personally, I need to make sure and be extra mindful when I'm stressed. And for each of us, that's a tailored, there's not like one way. We all have different experiences, different habits, different traumas. We've integrated in different ways. So I think it's important to just be supportive of each other and not critical of each other, and not, while it's helpful sometimes to offer our experiences to each other and advice if it's asked for, it's not, what works for me isn't necessarily going to work exactly for you, and vice versa. Nonetheless, it can be helpful to hear each other's stories, which I guess is why I share so much. That's my rambly 2 cents about that. I'm going to go eat and get grounded because even though I overconsumed yesterday, then I fasted this morning, which I don't even know if that counts as a fast, but I've been waiting for a nice lunch and looking forward to it. As always, I wish you peace, prosperity, positivity, progress, and playfulness.